I don't know a single grandparent that would want to physically correct a grandchild, spank a grandchild, and I discourage that. So I would
Yeah.
say put that aside, but there needs to be some form of correction that is there that a grandparent can utilize. So what is that and what does that look like? Have that conversation.
In the world of discipline, I just think that discipline and correction is really the role of parents, not grandparents. But tell me, I want to know from you and from your study of the Bible, what your take is on this.
Well, I agree with you. The Bible only gives specific commands for the discipline of a child to parents. It never directs that to grandparents. So I think that's pretty informative. So I think that should generally guide us. But I do have a but.
Okay.
The more time a grandparent spends with the grandchild, the more necessary that some form of correction is needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe this becomes one of those family conversations that it's wise to have early on so that some surprises are avoided and landmines do not get walked on. I have many experiences with individuals that grandparents either avoided discipline and it was a train wreck, or jumped into discipline thinking they needed to and it was a train wreck because mom and dad and grandma and grandpa weren't on the same page.
Yeah.
So I'll give you some examples. If grandparents babysit a child a day a week or multiple days a week, and the grandchild is there on a consistent basis, there's even our delightful little cherub children, they all have their moments, and they will with the grandparent. And they learn really quick. I can get away with stuff if there's no, if there's no boundaries that could be enforced. Right. So we essentially set grandparents up to fail if a grandchild learns, hey, I could do whatever I want, and it ties the hands of a grandparent. So right. I think in certain instances where grandparents are spending regular or high volumes of time, high volumes would be mom and dad go out of town for a week and grandparents come over and are there for a week watching the kids. There needs to be a plan. You can't just leave and say, see you in a week. Guaranteed there's going to be stuff that arises. So, what is that? Just have that conversation. What are you comfortable with? What are grandparents comfortable with? I don't know a single grandparent that would want to physically correct a grandchild, spank a grandchild, and I discourage that. So I would say put that aside, but there needs to be some form of correction that is there that a grandparent can utilize. So what is that and what does that look like? Have that conversation. I'll throw out two other areas that often trip families up. It's media usage and it's food consumption, and sometimes and sometimes bedtime routines. When does it, you grandparents stay with grandkids and they go to bed at midnight, they come back and they're wrecked, or grandchildren are over at grandma and grandpa's house and they are a little more liberal with what they watch, and we're pretty conservative, for example, and oh my goodness, we would never let our kids watch that. There are certain things that will guaranteed create some challenging conflicts, and those are all areas it's just wise. Well, I'll call it the talk. Have the talk. Discipline, media, food, bedtime. If you can, what we're doing is managing expectations, eliminating surprises. And when we get to that point, it's a win then for everybody, because then we can have good experiences. And, and all grandparents are different. Some that tend to be more harsh and tend to be a little more authoritative. We can have the conversation about, okay, there needs to be grace, because grandchildren are going to experience that side of a grandparent. And what we don't want to have is for grandchildren are super sensitive to this stuff. And so we want to again set our parents up for success to say, okay, here, this is the way a grandchild, whether it's right or not, this is the way they're perceiving things. I want you to know so adjustments can be made so that it could be a wonderful experience. Because what ends up happening is if there's bad experiences in these areas, either we say as parents, oh, we're not going to let grandparents spend time, or grandkids go, I don't want to go over there because it wasn't fun. It wasn't enjoyable. So this helps us avoid those kinds of outcomes. And then grandparents go, what happened? What did I do? And so those are just practical areas that really help in the long run. So have the talk.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.